I'm just going to invite you to take a nice deep breath. Breathe with me in this moment. Let your eyes close if they haven't yet. There's a beauty about breathing together, even on our prayer and conversation call. When we have that time on Zoom or wherever, just to consciously breathe with one another. I think that the breath, for me at least, is that connection of the divine. That breath is the sharing of God itself. That experience of God coming in with every breath we take. So as you consciously now just breathe, understanding the in and out, understanding that shared moment that we get to have with each other right now. Breathing in the breath of God, life itself. If we understand the word life as God, we are literally breathing in God. So to take this moment to consciously say, yes, I breathe in God. And something I want to talk about later when I do my pulpit work is the idea of freedom as our topic today, but freedom in an understanding of fear. And so I'm going to ask you to understand freedom, because we know fear, we know worry. Just the thought of that word may have brought up something. Whatever that thing is, I'm going to ask you to embrace it, to say thank you to it. Over the years, I've come to understand that when fear comes in, it's like a messenger. It's like something saying, hey, pay attention, this is important. And when we listen to that calling, to that pay attention, this is important, the fear is no longer needed. And so as a messenger, it gets to just say goodbye. And so as you hear that message, whatever it might be, let's shift our focus to the idea of freedom. So many people say they are free or they want to be free. People say they want to be happy, but they really don't know what it is. So I'm asking you to tap into that understanding of freedom. To actually give it a color. If you were to paint, to communicate that experience of freedom, what color might you use? And now with that breath of life of God, breathe in that color. To know freedom in your lungs. To feel that freedom in your heart. To let your heart be filled with the color, the knowing deep inside of you. Of that experience of freedom. And so I'm going to give you just a minute or so just to breathe in that color. Let it flow into your lungs. Maybe it's like a beautiful mist in an early morning. To breathe that coolness, that color, that understanding of freedom. To let it fill your heart. And to consciously guide that color into the chambers of your heart. The 4 rooms that pulse and beat, that have a rhythm of life. fill those chambers, paint those walls with freedom. And invite your heart, once it's filled up, and only when it is filled up with this freedom, to pump it, to pulse it with every breath, to share it with your entire body, to see it flowing through your brain, filling your veins, moving into your gut with every beat, with every breath, with every pulse of your heart. Allowing, consciously guiding that freedom deep inside yourselves. In this conscious choice of welcoming freedom, of guiding it into your body, of connecting with your breath, use your inner vision now as your eyes are still closed to guide that freedom into any moment where you may find limitation or doubt. And as you learn to use your inner vision, which is part of the intuitive process, as you learn to do this and practice it in this moment, with that inner vision, I'm inviting you to send that color up like a fountain. Send that color up from the core of your being, through your heart, like a beautiful fountain overflowing into this room. And to see in your own inner vision a rainbow of colors, as each and every individual here has their own specific understanding of freedom. And as those colors are supported and complemented and contrasted with each other, to see this room filling up with that beautiful, beautiful rainbow of light. And to see again in your own eyes someone else's fountain of freedom. And to say, ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna try me some of that too. to understand all the different ways to be free. And see this room filling up with that rainbow. You may notice the light getting brighter and brighter, deeper and more saturated, sparkling even, to breathe in that freedom. And as you get to now swim in this beautiful rainbow of freedom, as you get to float in this freedom, free from judgment, free from worry, free from fear, free from limitation, to feel yourself being buoyed by the spiritual quality, another word for the divine itself, for freedom, by freedom. I'm inviting you to simply say yes. I honor my freedom. I honor your freedom. I celebrate this freedom, and I consciously choose to breathe it in even more deeply. I bring it into my cells, and as you do, they get to be filled up. As you breathe this freedom, this life, this breath of God, just pause for a moment and allow. When we choose freedom and align ourselves with that truth, we release our limitations, our fear, our lack, our judgments. And so know, as you say to yourself even right now, I choose freedom. Just simply by saying, I choose freedom, some little lack, some little fear is dissolving into the goodness that is God. I choose freedom. I choose freedom. I choose freedom. And to take a moment as we come back, to take a moment in breath, in life, in your body, to take a moment of choosing peace, of breathing in that freedom. As we take a moment now, coming back, as you open your eyes, say out loud with me, I choose freedom. Welcome back. I love you all. We're going to be starting our service in just a few minutes. Thank you for sharing this experience with me. And namaste. Systems. Good morning. Am I gonna get it like okay, so Harris is gonna be like, oh, I'm live now. Hello, everybody. Little scat singing there by Tina Meeks. Hello, Ahiah! I know you guys can probably already see me being goofy up here, but to everybody over in TV land, we are so glad to be here, as well as the beautiful audience that we have in person. I am so glad to be here. And as Reverend Mike would say, God morning. God morning, right? It's a beautiful thing. So my name is Peter Bedard. I am a practitioner here at the amazing Ahiah Center for Spiritual Living. And as I welcome you into this glorious day, this beautiful party of spirit, I just want to acknowledge a few people. Our assistant minister, of course, is Reverend Mike, who is not here, and we love him for that because he's filling himself up. He's filling himself up. We have an amazing singer, one of my favorites, who I knew her before she knew me because I used to go see her sing at other places, but she had no idea who I was. So when I first met her, I was like, "Hi, Tina Meeks," and she just like totally gave me, like, I don't know you. But I have to say that I do consider her a friend now, right? Tina Meeks is in the house. Woo! And with Tina, we have our amazing Sunday Morton band, Sunday morning band. And we have Chris and Leon and the lovely Satoshi filling in for Brian. Thank you, Satoshi. Woo! He's got a good sense of humor. And we have Gloria, as always, supporting us with microphones and sound and everything. Just a hand for Gloria right there. Woo, woo! And our other tech genius, Harris, in the back, who gave me our countdown. And I'm your practitioner today. And moving in on Facebook, we have Harris as well. And on Zoom, we have Harris. On YouTube, we have Harris. Because I'm normally on YouTube. So Harris is in the house on all of our platforms. Thank you, Harris. So if you just join me in taking a moment, we're going to go into our beautiful meditation. So sit back, take a deep breath. And here we go.
Well, there's a dark and a troubled side of life. There's a bright and a sunny side too. Though we meet with the darkness and strife, the sunny side we also may view. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten up the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. Oh, the storm and its fury broke today, crushing dreams that we cherish so dear. Clouds and storms will in time pass away. The sun again will shine bright and clear. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten up the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. Greet with a song of hope each day. Though the moments be cloudy or fair, let us trust in our Savior always, to keep everyone in His care. So keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten up the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten up the way if we keep on the sunny side of life.
Whew. I like that. I feel like I should be talking like this right now. Hi. Keep on that sunny side. That's a good one, people. There's something about baby sheep and funny cows that just makes me happy. It really does. So today, for our reading, I brought two little paragraphs I want to share with you. The first one comes from The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Beautiful book. And I need to put my glasses on. You like that on? Yeah, I heard that, Leon. All right. When you have fear inside of you, the events of life invariably stimulate it. Like a rock thrown into water, the world with its continuous changes creates ripples in whatever is held within you. There's nothing wrong with that. Life creates situations that push you to the edges, all with the effect of removing what is blocked inside of you. That which is blocked and buried within you forms the root of fear. Fear is caused by blockages in the flow of energy. When your energy is blocked, it can't come up and feed your heart. Therefore, your heart becomes weak. When your heart is weak, it becomes susceptible to lower vibrations, and one of the lowest of all vibrations is fear. Fear is the cause of every problem. It's the root of all prejudice and negative emotions of anger, jealousy, and possessiveness. If you had no fear, you could be perfectly happy living in the world. Nothing would bother you. And in that absence of fear, I think that's where we find freedom. And so I just wanted to read this little paragraph from a book by a practitioner that I recently met out in Palm Springs named George Melton. And in George's book, he says, true healing comes as an end result of our focus on finding our own wholeness. When we open our mind to our spiritual source and turn our focus on the task of reconnecting with that source, then we have begun to use the focus of our mind in a truly constructive way. This focus will bring into reality a dimension of power beyond what we have ever imagined for ourselves, the power of the God within. This power, unimpeded by the altered ego, transcends the action of any germ or virus. Isn't that fear? Isn't that freedom? And so I want you to invite you to take a moment and just go within. Drop down into that center of centers of you, where there is only freedom, where there always has been, always will be. The freedom with a capital F, that is that word for God itself. The freedom. Find that experience. If you were here for the meditation, fill yourself with that color. Drop down into that moment. And as I know that God is all there is, that God is freedom itself. I know as I am a direct emanation of the divine, as a drop is from the ocean, that freedom is my divine right. And so I declare that I am free. And as I make that declaration, I release any bondages, any limitations, any fears by simply claiming I am free. I breathe in that freedom now. I let it expand through my body, through my mind, through my spirit. I welcome that freedom in on the deepest of levels. And in doing that, I simply take a breath and let go. I lean into the goodness of God. I lean into that truth, and I let that freedom be And as I release these words, knowing that it is mine, that freedom is mine, as I release these words, feeling them in my bones, knowing them in my heart, taking them into my cells, I simply say, and so it is. Amen. And I love to bring up to the stage the amazing, the effervescent, the glorious, one of my favorite singers, Tina Meeks. Woo!
Everybody, good to be here. Back in the house. I do. Oh. I'm sorry, everybody. I don't know what I was thinking. I hope you could hear me. Basically saying it's great to be back here, back in the space. I hope that you all take advantage of this time, that we are safe distancing and enjoying being together. All right, I'm going to sing a song that I wrote. In fact, both of the songs I'm singing today I wrote. But I hope that this speaks to the topic of what we are learning this month from our wonderful minister, Scott Olson. Mystery man, I come to you for answers, trying to solve the puzzles in my brain. Did you know a mighty wind came rushing in and took my love in a hurricane? Do clouds relate to one another? Or do they get so tense that they have to blow? I don't know science, but I know my heart aches every time a loved one has to go. Mystery man, you've got it all together. That's why everybody comes to you. And I suppose I should have asked you sooner, then I'd know exactly what to do. I'm wondering, why can't people live forever? And can you tell me, where do I belong? Would you show me which way leads to heaven? Would you give me the answers to this song? Mystery man, today I saw a rainbow and suddenly a smile was on my face. Is it real? Or is it really magic? All those colors sharing in one space. Sunrise and sunset and in between. Life ain't that simple. It cannot be. Mystery man, would you help me understand? Oh, mystery man, won't you help me understand?
Tina, so good to have you here. Figure out this mic here. It's looking a little statuesque at the moment. Well, we'll just, there we go. All right, thank you, Tina. I've never been called Mystery Man before. I think I'll have to check in with Gabriel, see what he thinks about that. Oh, it's such a beautiful day, isn't it? It's beautiful 4th of July. And, you know, we are here on Independence Day. And last week I mentioned that it was really our first Independence Day for our country, that our second Independence Day would be Juneteenth. And since it's the 4th of July, you know what? I forgot my handy-dandy phone. And without it, I can't switch the slides on our screen in here. And so, because it's 4th of July, I thought what I would do is I would put up one of the statements out of the Declaration of Independence. And we all memorize this as children, I think. Everybody, they still memorize it in school, right? I hope so. You know, because it's a wonderful statement that really defines our country. It says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." And you know, when I hear that, I listen and I hear that self-evident part. And isn't it funny how self-evident things aren't really self-evident? You know, we say they're self-evident, but I can tell you for absolute sure that when this was written, July 4th, 1776, that King George III did not find it self-evident, right? He was king. He was above everybody. And it took us a civil war and almost 100 years for us to even recognize that the end of slavery was required in order for all men to be created equal. And it took us until 1920 to recognize that women should vote because they're equal. And it took us until 1965 to be sure that we recognize that all people should vote, no matter what their skin color or, you know, how much money they had. And so these self-evident truths are not so self-evident in some ways. And we're still learning what that means. But the good news is that by whatever was in the water, you know, in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia when they were writing this thing up, I think that was where they wrote it up, right? Philadelphia? Whatever was in the water, they got some sort of message. And so our theme for July, our new theme for July is pulled by vision. And it is these kinds of statements where we're pulled forth, right? They didn't recognize the truth of what was self-evident, that all men are created equal. The founding fathers didn't really understand what that meant, but they wrote it down. And that vision has pulled us forward through the years. And so I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful that we continue to be pulled forward, and we're going to recognize and understand what it means even more fully, that all men are created equal as we go forward in the future. That's what I'm knowing. That's the truth for humanity. That's the truth for the world. That's what will save us in the long run, is knowing that truth. So today's talk title is Living in the Question. And so we get to live in the question. And you know, I keep telling you that I live these talk titles, right? So the week I'm coming up to the talk, I kind of live the talk title. And so I was sitting there in the question on Monday going, I wonder what I'm going to be, living in order to live in the question. Well, Spirit, kind of came through, hit another home run, always does. And Tuesday, and did it early in the week, so I had time to think about it, which was great. Tuesday, what happened was that I was out for a walk. Now, I've been walking a lot. I've been getting out several days a week to do 5-6 mile walks, or, a couple times of shorter walks. And Tuesday morning, I was taking one of my longer walks. And in my neighborhood, I have discovered, even though I've lived there for 30 years, I moved there in July of 1991. So I've been there for 30 years now. And even though I've been there for 30 years, I just discovered that there's a nature park in my neighborhood. And the reason I just discovered that is because when I first moved into the neighborhood, I was searching around, seeing what's all around, and I noticed that there was a trail that I saw some bikers taking their bikes down. And so I followed them, and I found that there was a bike trail down the LA River. I'm less than a half a mile by the way the crow flies from the LA River. And so there's a bike trail that goes up and down the LA River quite a ways. I haven't gone north much. But when I was doing that initial, reconnaissance of my neighborhood, what I came to realize was that there was this path that went through this flat, grassy area. And there were all these tents there. And it was kind of an out-of-the-way place. And, it just didn't feel safe in that time. That was 30 years ago, and it didn't feel safe. And so I have just kind of not gone there for a long time. You got to walk down a path to get there. I just wasn't going down that path. Now, this is the same area that that I told my son a year ago. He told me he was 18 years old, and he told me that he had gone, he was told me he was going to go for a bike ride. When he got back, he was all excited. He came up and told me, Dad, I found a shortcut to the bike route, to the bike path. And I went, oh, I know where he went. And, I've been training him since he was 6 years old to take that bike path, but we only ever went a mile south of me, right? Got on the bike path and went south. Because if I go north on the LA River, it goes into Compton. And, it's just taking a little kid, I'll go south. So he tells me that he's found this way, and he tells me that he went miles up there, and I'm like, oh my God. So, my image of him was a white kid by himself on a $750 bike going north. So I told him, don't do that again. And I'm telling him this, and he's just looking at me like I'm a dad being a dad. All right, so I am a dad being a dad. But I realize now that, as I found this bike, this new area, they've basically turned the area that had the tents from before into a nature area. In fact, this is a picture of it. It's a nice water pond with reeds and wildlife in there, and it's got a path that goes all the way around it. And if you take the path all the way around it, it's about a 2-mile loop. And so it's perfect for walking. And nowadays, there's lots of people who walk there. And I'm enjoying, now that I've found it, I'm enjoying my walks there. In fact, you get to see ducks there, listen to them, right? And so it's a great place to be. And so on Tuesday, I was doing my longer walk, and so I'm on this loop, And I get down to the far north end, and there's a chain link fence in that area of the park. There's a chain link fence there to keep you from going down to the water. And he's on the other side of the chain link fence, and he's bent over with his back to me, and I can see that he's pulling something heavy and metal. And it looks kind of like a generator, right? And it is heavy. I can tell it's heavy. And I just look at him, and I walk in the dog, and I just walk on by. Well, I get about 50 feet down the path when he yells at me. He goes, come on, man. If I saw someone with such a heavy load, I would help them. And to be quite honest, I walked on by. I didn't say anything. Now, if you go around to the other side of this pond, so you circle around that northern end, you come around, what I already know, because I've already been there and I've noticed this many times, is there's a tent that's down there. And I've noticed that there are a bunch of bicycles there, and in my judgments, I was thinking, oh, there's where the missing bicycles from my neighborhood are. And it's about to get to that tent, you got to do a pretty deep or steep slope to get down there, right? So I've seen all this. I know this all about that. And I think to myself, what should I have done? Was that the appropriate response? Right? What else could I have done? Now, I'm still very clear on my boundary that I was not going to go help him pull that generator down to his tent. Not ever going to happen, right? He's on the other side of a chain link fence, which means I'm not supposed to be over there anyway. He's pulling a generator. God only knows if it's his. It's heavy, and it's in the reeds. I would probably slip, fall, and break my neck. And if I didn't kill myself helping him pull that generator down, when I told Gabriel what I had done, Gabriel would kill me. So, I was very clear on my boundary that I am not going to go down and take that generator down to him. And I don't think Spirit was calling me to question that. I think that boundary of doingness was fine, right? But the question that was left for me to live in the question was how was I being with that man? Was I being the way I should be? And so, I thought about it. I wasn't violent with him. I didn't curse him. I didn't tell him shut up. Didn't tell him I wasn't going to help him with his pilfered goods. I don't know that they're pilfered, but I could have said something like that. I could have been in a lot of judgment. I didn't do that. But I also wasn't warm and welcoming to him. I just finished teaching a class called Power of Your Word. And each week in the class, I had somebody bring a story from the newspapers. Just anything that caught their eyes. It was fine. And the question that we talked about in the class each week was, what is it that Spirit is asking to be expressed more fully in this moment? So if somebody brought something about war, what is it that Spirit is asking to be expressed more fully? Love, peace, wholeness. If it's about poverty, what is being asked to be expressed more fully? Abundance, love, the sharing, right, of our good. And so in this question, in this particular case, I was like, what is Spirit asking of me? Why is it that my antenna went up? What was it that I could have done? I couldn't help him carry that. That was not going to happen. But how could I have treated him differently? How could I have been with him differently? I think the answer came in his statement itself. He said, "Come on, man. If I saw someone struggling, I would help him." And the answer is not in the second part. It's not about the struggle. It's not about the help. I don't think he was really expecting me to. I think what he was asking was in the very first part of it. Come on, man. If I saw someone, if I saw a person, if I saw somebody that I could relate to, if I saw someone that was an us versus a them, I think that was what Spirit was calling for me to know more fully in that moment, was the love, the acceptance that God is, that grace that God is, that knows us and knows that it knows us and knows us as itself and knows us as whole, perfect, and complete. That was what was being asked to be expressed more fully in that moment. The oneness that God is, to know that person is the same as I am. That we are the same life, the same power, the same presence. That no matter what our situation is, we are here to know each other, to love each other. Malcolm X says it this way. He says, when I becomes we, even illness becomes wellness. The illness in this situation, this I versus us, the I versus we, is all about oneness. Wellness in this case is oneness. So, this event has left me living in the question this week. And as I was thinking of so many of the illnesses of the world, wondering how those would get transformed into the wellnesses, the illnesses that are poverty, homelessness, war, violence, disease, all those illnesses of the world. I started to remember back to, back when I was in Caltech, there was, Sting put out an album called The Soul Cages. And it was not his most popular album, but it was my favorite album from him. And I would do homework listening to that album, one album. I really didn't want, something to get me out of my head. I had homework to do. So I would put this on and it would just play in the background. It was on a CD and it just repeated. And there was this one song called All This Time, and the line out of it, one of the lines is, all this time the river flowed endlessly to the sea. And, that's kind of how we are. We're endlessly flowing to the sea, where the sea is spirit. And we're moving through this life, and we're moving to that life that is all lives. But the reason this song and this album were they're my favorite of his, is he wrote it at a time right after, it's his response to his father dying. And it's his response to his childhood and growing up in, northern England, or northern UK anyway. And at that particular time in my life, my stepfather had just died. And I was in this kind of a funk because, I was going to Caltech, I was working 30 hours a week, I was just overly stressed. There was no time for me to process. And so I went into, one of the few times I would say I was kind of depressed in my life. And so I was in this mood, and this album seemed to help me. It helped me to buoy a little bit. Somebody kind of understood what I was thinking, even if I didn't know I was thinking it. And one of the lines that he has in this same song is he says, "Men go crazy in the congregation. They only get better one by one." And I think that's true. We go a little bit crazy in groups, right? But we only ever really, truly get better one by one. It's us living in the question that allows us to live from a place that knows the life that God is. It's us individually that have to do the work. It's us that are blessed with this life. This powerful life that each and every one of you guys is living a powerful life. And we get to know that life, and we get to live in the question and ask Spirit, what am I being asked to think about right now? And what I'll guarantee is that it's not about the doing. We beat ourselves up about the doing all the time. It's not about the doing. It's about the being. How am I being in life? How am I being with myself? How am I being with others? How am I seeing the world? What does it mean to me? That's the important questions we're being asked. And that's the questions that only you can answer for yourself. We come to a place like this because we have the opportunity to hear questions that we get to answer. It's not for Reverend Scott. Reverend Scott might be the mystery man, but this mystery man's going to remain a mystery because I ain't telling you what I think. Right? And the reason I don't do that, I don't tell people. People are in classes with me all the time, especially new students. They'll ask me thousands of questions, and I won't answer them. I mean, I answer them, but I don't answer them for them. I keep bringing the question back to them. What is it that you think? Because really, we teach in this philosophy that the wisdom, intelligence, and clarity that Spirit is lies within. We already know the answers. What I do for you, if you're in a class with me, is I facilitate you becoming aware and knowing more fully for yourself the answer that is true for you. So, I want to leave you with an affirmation today. It's showing up on your screen. So if you would read it along with me. I becomes we as I step into the oneness and love that is God. Let's say that again. I becomes we as I step into the oneness and love that is God. Just think about that throughout this week. Think about how you can be the oneness and love that God is. And, live in that question. The question is how am I to show up in the world? How am I to be in this world? And, the truth is, remember the piece from Sting's song, they only get better one by one. Which just means as we go out into the week, I have to work on me. You have to work on you. Take that time. Coming together like this and coming into classes is great. It's great support. It's great ideas. But the real work is done, by yourself, really. And then last of all, if you're living in the question, you don't even know what the question is, it's okay. Just let Spirit guide you. Thank you. Namaste. So. It's July 4th. So let's just breathe that in. Breathe in this holiday. Breathe in this time that we've got in community. Whether you're here or whether you're online, breathe this in so that we know and recognize that truth of the oneness that God is living as and through us. Knowing absolutely that this life, this power, this presence that is God, that is love, that is oneness, that is freedom. Absolute freedom. That it is the truth of each and every one of us, that it is here exactly as it needs to be, that it is supporting us, showing up in all the ways that we need it to show up, that it is the love and the peace and the joy that fills us up to full and overflowing in our relationships and our friendships and events that are happening now once again. I'm knowing absolutely that we are each and every one supported in this life, in this power, in this presence, and that the love that God is, it just shows up and it is everything that we need. Most assuredly, it is the divine acceptance that we crave. It is the divine givingness that we need in order to fulfill our lives. It is the love and the peace and the joy that shows up in all the little ways that it needs to in order to smooth out the crooked road and make our path move forward with joy, with confidence and ease. And for knowing that truth this morning, I just give thanks. And I release this prayer to the law, knowing that it's already fulfilled in the mind that God is. And I say life and God are good and very good. And together we say, and so it is. Amen and amen. And so now I'd like to just say our contribution, yes. I was looking for my cheat sheet. So this is our time for our conscious contributions. And I know that many of you online have already given virtually, and thank you. And many of you in the room, I'm sure, is true also. If you have not, there are envelopes in the pews that you can put your name on and put your offering in that. We will collect the offering not right now, but after service at the doors. That's just so that we're not passing things around. And so if you would take whatever you're giving today and bless it along with me. And it's showing on the screen right here. And so you can read along with me. This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving as I now share my good with life. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Amen and amen. And so now I'd like to ask Tina Meeks, what were some of those adjectives? Indomitable, yeah. I don't know. Peter's got them all. But we love Tina. Thank you. Come on up, Tina.
All right. Yes. All right, everybody. Oh, okay, so you got to remember this song because we did a video of it at the other location a long time ago. If you ever want to take a look at how things used to look in our sanctuary before we moved into this wonderful location here, you can see it on YouTube. Yes to Love. You'll see a lot of old friends. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been saving up these tears for 1,000 days and 1,000,000 years. Now's the time to release all the chains that bind me. I need amazing grace from a friendly face to help me see some love in the human race. Maybe I can turn on the light that wants to shine within me. So I'm gonna say yes, yes, yes to love. I'm gonna say yes, oh yes, yes to love. There, come on, that's right. Well, there's a saying, love conquers all, so I surrender before I fall. No need to fight, I answer the call of destiny. Oh, all the pain and all of the tears, all the shame and all of the fears, suddenly they just disappear the moment I say yes. So I'm gonna say yes, oh yes, oh yes to love. I gotta say yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes to love. So listen, everybody. You can't live to someone else until you start to love yourself. You got to say yes. You got to say yes. Oh, you got to say yes. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you can be what you want to. You can do what you want to when you say yes to love. Hey, hey. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. Yeah, I'm going to say yes. Yeah, yeah. Can I hear you say yes?
Hey, Tina, didn't you tell me that's your original? Right?
Yes.
Yes.
I said yes.
Yes. Oh. I'm always just so grateful that I get to be here because, I get to see Tina in all her stature, not the small picture. I know those of you on camera, I'm loving having you there. But it is really sweet being here in the sanctuary, and I'm really, really blessed to be here with you. Mm-hmm. So we have, I want to remind us of our practitioners. We have a few practitioners here. If those of you who would like to pray with people after service, raise your hands. Okay, we have a few. And so they will be available. Just come on up and say yes to prayer. And you can also get a hold of our practitioners by going to ahiah.com/meetourpractitioners, and that'll take you in. We also have a ministry of prayer. If you would like prayer and you'd just like to send us a email type of thing, you can go to ahiah.com/prayers, and we will be happy to pray for you. If you give us your phone number, we'll call you. And we also have a dial a prayer. Every week we put up a new dial a prayer on our website, and it's also, you can call our phone number and hit option 7 and it'll take you there. And that is a reading and a prayer by one of our practitioners. So, avail yourself of that. I find, when I really just want a little bit of prayer, that's where I go. And so, that shouldn't be the next one. This should be the next one. Let's do a few announcements. So this is exciting, folks. We're going to have an Ahiah Summer Fun Day with Jazz. We're actually going to have 5 Summer Fun Days, because each Sunday in August, right here at Ahiah, at 5 o'clock, we're going to be having a jazz concert each week. And so we're going to have music. We're going to be getting you a list of who the artists are. By the 15th, we're going to be opening up for tickets. And so lots more information will be coming your way. But I wanted to let you know, each of the 5 Sundays in August, jazz right here at your own beautiful spiritual home. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. We'll also be having a wine and cheese for the VIPs. People who do the VIP will have wine and cheese beforehand, and we'll let you know more about all that. And then it's not too late. We have 2 classes that just started. We've got Foundations, which is taught by me. It's a great entry-level class if you're new to this philosophy, or if you've been here for a long time but you want a refresher on the tools that we're teaching you, the tools of how to, live the life of your dreams. And come down. It's Tuesdays, either in person here in our classroom or on Zoom, and it's 6:30 to 9 o'clock at night. We also have Patricia Roach, one of our emeritus practitioners, a wonderful lady. She is so wise. She's really got a depth to her, and she is teaching our self-mastery class, and it is going from 3 to 6. I'm taking the class with her, and that one's in person only. It's in our classroom. And now a quick message from Reverend Diana Lee about Prosperity Now.
Hey, good morning, Ahiah family. This is Reverend Diana Lee, and I am here to let you know about Prosperity Now is a monthly affirmative prosperity group, breaking through holding patterns, living rich and happy lives today, and sharing with one another. Remember, money is only energy, and struggling with it is our choice. Together, we thrive. Starting Monday, July 12th, 2021, 6 p.m. Pacific. See.
So you can go to our website. We'll have information on how to get there on our classes page. And so now let's just do our benediction. So it's showing up on the screen if you can read it there. Otherwise, most of you guys know it anyway. You can go ahead and say it along with me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all of my affairs. I accept it. I am it, and I share it, just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life. Amen and amen. And so, it's so good to be here with you guys. I really would love for you to have a lovely, lovely, wonderful 4th of July. And I will see you here next week. Thank you. Namaste. And one more thing for the people that are here. Harris, I'm turned off, right? Yeah.